Hey everyone, happy to see you guys back. Actually, I see the camera, but I assume that you're on the other end of it. So this video is going to be our prediction video for Night of Champions. This is coming right after Monday's Raw, so things can change, but this is going to be a pretty busy week for both of us. Just kind of want to do it now so that we make sure that we get it out. As you can tell, it's right after we made our last video. I'm still wearing my Steelers stuff, and he's wearing his shirt. So that was a really stupid beginning to this video, so I apologize. But predictions. So we're gonna jump right into it. We're gonna start with the pre-show match, the tag team. Five tag teams.
Turmoil? I'm pretty sure they use the word turmoil in there somewhere.
Turmoil match. So 5 tag teams. The Usos versus 3MB versus Real Americans versus Primetime Players versus... Who did I miss?
That's right there.
I missed...
Tensai and what's his?
Okay, yeah, Tons of Funk.
Tons of Funk.
Okay, so those 5, really bad beginning to this video. So those 5, I think it's pretty obvious who's going to win this match, and I don't think we're gonna spend too much time on it. I think Primetime Players is gonna win this match, and I have a very scientific reason behind this. For one thing, they've been pushing them a little bit, and good for them because I'm not sure if you're aware of this, but Darren Young came out as the first openly gay WWE superstar. Good for him. Good for the WWE for supporting him and for really being behind him. And now they're pushing the Primetime Players. I think they're talented. I think they deserve it. And I like watching them. So good for WWE. But I have a scientific reason behind this, and not just because they've been pushing them, but because on the graphic tonight they had the other 4 tag teams kind of just static in the card that they showed and the graphic, and then Primetime Players was kind of out in front, and they were kind of moving, and it just seemed they were the prominent picture in that graphic.
It was like, hey, they're wrestling, and then there's like 4 other people.
Yeah, so it was kind of obvious who was the draw in that match. And also who's been pushed. Like, 3MB is definitely not going to win. Tons of Funk, definitely. I mean, that was the last time they won anything, really. And then the Usos, I'm actually a big fan of the Usos, but they haven't been pushed as hard lately. And then the Real Americans Antonio Cesaro had a decent match tonight, but with Santino Marella. It was an entertaining match. He did that one, I don't want to get into it that much, but he did that one spin move that lasted forever and really got the crowd into it. I was impressed by that, but I don't see them contending for the belts right now, especially heel versus heel Shield faction. Roman Reigns and Seth Rollins. So I think Primetime Players is going to win it. So what do you think?
I have to concur. Primetime Players all the way. Bust out some dance moves.
So, millions of dollars. Millions of dollars. All right. So, getting into the actual pay-per-view, I'll talk about the Divas Championship. Lead up to it's been okay. They're kind of playing on the whole total divas versus non-total divas thing now. I don't really remember who's in that match either. I know AJ's in it.
It's AJ versus Natalya versus Brie
Bella
versus
Naomi.
Okay,
so actually, that's a tough one. I think it will either...
It's a fatal 4-way, you know? It could be anyone. 25% chance according to Michael Cole.
He's good at math. I don't really think that's how competitions work.
Nope.
But I guess, I mean, it's 1 out of 4, but technically, if one's the champion and I think only one other one has been a champion, with Brie, because Naomi definitely hasn't been, and then Natalya, maybe she was too. I can't quite remember. I haven't paid enough attention to the divas. But Naomi definitely wasn't. So, I mean, if AJ's supposed to be better, then that kind of skews up the math. Because it's not like she's equal to Naomi. But we're not getting into a math lesson.
No.
it's hard because I think only two people. Actually, no. I think it could either go. AJ could retain it.
Mm-hmm.
It could go to Brie, or it could go to Natalia.
If it went to Brie, I feel like that'd just be pointless and they'd just be like pushing Total Divas, but that's a whole nother thing. But
Yeah.
which could happen, I guess.
But I mean, the Bellas have been featured a lot before. I'd actually like to see Natalia get it, but I don't think she will. I'm gonna pick AJ to retain.
I'm gonna have to concur with you again. AJ, I think AJ will retain, and I think the second most plausible scenario is that Natalia would win, but I don't see that happening. So I think AJ would just retain it for now, and I don't know what they'll do after this, but that's what's gonna happen.
And I actually like AJ too, so it's not really that bad. Now moving on to a match that we're assuming is going to happen. It hasn't been official, but the way that they've been kind of pushing it. The feud, I'm just going to assume that it might happen, and so we're just going to predict it in case it does happen.
It's a preemptive strike.
Yeah, so if it doesn't happen, just skip this section of the video, just push it forward a little bit. But we're going to assume that Miz and Fandango are going to wrestle. I think it's been funny, but it's kind of the same stuff that Fandango's been doing. I still think he's hilarious, but it's still the same thing. And I thought Miz a couple weeks ago coming out with Rosa Mendez and dancing and making fun of him was really funny.
Yeah.
But it's still the same thing. Fandango comes out, distracts somebody, they lose, and then he says it's Fandango. And that's kind of what happens. So I will predict that they actually start to try to push Fandango again, and they give him the win. With Summer Rae maybe distracting, doing some type of interference, distracting the ref or something like that.
Seems pretty plausible. Once again, I think I have to agree. I think Fandango will get the win. He's been featured with Chris Jericho before, and I think he's got a strong push even since he came to the WWE. So I think they're always going to keep him moving forward and give him the win.
I'd like to see both of these guys get pushed because I think they're both good mid-carders. Miz has been the WWE champion. I think he was a decent one. And I find them both entertaining. Fandango a little bit more so.
Yeah.
But we're going to try not to agree on every single one of these picks.
Yeah. But sometimes it happens.
Yeah. Well, this is the first time that we've done it, so
that's true.
This time is the only time, so it always happens so far.
Yeah.
But hopefully we'll change that. One thing that I do want to touch on before going into the next match is the lack of titles being featured at Night of Champions.
This pay-per-view is deemed Night of Champions. So.
Yeah, I thought that the original concept of it was that it was supposed to be a championship where every belt was defended. But that doesn't seem to be the case this year. 3 of them are the Divas Championship, the World Heavyweight Championship, and the WWE Championship. Now, something can change between the time that this video was made and the time that Night of Champions happens. So, if something happens on, say, SmackDown or something where all of a sudden Dean Ambrose is defending the U.S. Championship, I don't think that'll happen because it seems like the Shield is really just going to be kind of involved in the main event with Daniel Bryan and Randy Orton, and we'll get to that. So he's already kind of locked up in something, and then of course the Intercontinental Championship is not going to get defended because Curtis Axel is in a match, a non-title match, with CM Punk and also Paul Heyman being with Curtis Axel. So we know that belt won't be featured, and also the tag team titles because of the same reasons that Dean Ambrose, the Shield, has those. So I'm kind of disappointed in that because that kind of takes away the purpose of this specific, the theme of this specific pay-per-view, and I don't understand, like, it could just be any other pay-per-view. It's not really Night of Champions. It's Night of 3 championships, and only one that I care about.
Yeah, legitimately.
Yeah, I don't really care about the Divas Championship, and right now, for this time being, I have no reason to care about the World Heavyweight Championship.
Yeah.
So, speaking of the World Heavyweight Championship, that I don't care about, but I'm going to predict Alberto Del Rio versus Rob Van Dam. I think this will be incredibly short. I pick Alberto Del Rio.
just to dissent, I'm gonna pick RVD, Rob Van Dam.
Okay.
But I mean, I would like to see him win. I really would. But in my heart of hearts, I do not believe it's gonna happen. But there's always hoping. You know,
Yeah.
we wanted Daniel Bryan. Well, I mean, I at least wanted Daniel Bryan to win, and he did in SummerSlam. But then it got taken away. That's a whole other
Everybody
thing.
won. Well,
But yeah,
the way they did it was fine. But
yeah. But
I still want the belt on Bryan eventually. Yeah.
yeah. What's next? CM Punk match?
Yeah, I'm not really going to give too much reason behind my Del Rio pick. Just doesn't make sense to put the belt on RVD for me. And the problem is that passes. I don't know what they're going to do because I don't really see anybody else right now pushing for that title. Maybe they could get Dolph Ziggler back in it. What's he doing? Is he doing anything?
He wrestled Bray Wyatt tonight.
He did.
But that was about it. And
We
also
didn't talk about that in our last video.
Yeah, and then the Wyatt family is also
they're not really
absent.
doing anything right
Yeah.
now. And, yeah, that's kind of been a little, I think, without Kane, there's not really, I don't know if they're kind of just going around now fighting random, which Dolph Ziggler's not random, but it doesn't make sense in that story, is what I mean. So, next match, CM Punk versus Paul Heyman and Curtis Axel in a handicap elimination match. I predict that Curtis Axel wins dirty. I don't think there's any way he wins clean. But for some reason, the way that they've booked him, it goes against rational thinking. This is pro wrestling logic. Like in real life, like say the Steelers, right? They got crushed on Sunday. They got killed by the Tennessee Titans. So, logically, I can expect them to get crushed again on Monday to the Cincinnati Bengals. Don't kill me, but that's logic. That doesn't mean they will, but in real life, that's logical because Cincinnati is supposed to be better than Tennessee. So, if, logically speaking, if Curtis Axel loses back-to-back matches to Kofi Kingston, and technically CM Punk is much better than Kofi Kingston, or at least their characters are supposed to be much, his character is supposed to be much better than Kofi Kingston. It's a main eventer versus Mick Carter / Jobber. So if he can't beat Kofi Kingston, logically there's no reason for him to beat CM Punk. Now that's in real life. That's how football, baseball, whatever works. Boxing, whatever. But in pro wrestling, this is like the red herring, where if a guy is losing to somebody, and it makes you think, man, this guy can't compete against this other guy that's even better than this guy that he's losing to, that means he's probably going to win. He's probably going to win. He's not going to win by actually coming out and impressively beating him, but he's going to win by some type of technicality, by someone running in, by some type of interference, by the ref getting bumped, by something like that. Something like that will happen. CM Punk will dominate the match. Hopefully he gets his hands on Paul Heyman. That'll be fun, but I think he loses and Curtis Axel wins the match dirty.
I actually think legitimately that CM Punk will win the match. I mean, I think he should, but I actually think there is a chance that he will win the match. I hope he does get the. I think he will get to Paul Heyman, albeit brief. I believe that will happen again because he has gotten to Paul Heyman before, but in brief spouts. And much like those previous times, I do think he will get to him, but it will be short. But I believe CM Punk will win this handicap elimination match.
Okay, so that's a legitimate difference of opinion, not just going. So there we go. You saw it. We are not just agreeing with each other the whole time. And so finally, we get to the main event. And this is one I don't have much of an idea.
Nope.
I don't think they're putting the belt on Bryan right now.
I don't think so.
I think it'll wait a little bit. I don't know how long, but I think it will be at a big pay-per-view that he gets it back. I think they're going to build it. I think they're really going to build this fighting against the odds, and that Orton's going to have the belt for a while. It might be at Survivor Series, it might be a Royal Rumble, but I think it's going to take a while for Bryan to get the belt back. He will eventually. I expect him to get a big run once he does. Expect him to have the belt at WrestleMania, for that to be his WrestleMania. Now that The Rock's gone, maybe it might be the Undertaker / WrestleMania, so maybe it will be his too. But I think this will be the coming out party for Daniel Bryan. But I think it will take a while. It won't be immediately after getting screwed. I think he's still going to have some hurdles to jump over, and there's still a lot more story to tell in this before giving him the belt. And I think giving him the belt right now, it would be satisfying, but it won't be as satisfying as it will be having him really struggle a little bit more and then start coming over the odds and start getting the advantage and then eventually get the belt back and run with it. So I expect Orton to win. I expect him to win by Triple H doing something, by the Shield. I expect them to be at ringside. I expect them to do something dirty. Maybe Triple H coerces Big Show, pulling him in again, playing on this whole do it for your family, what's best for business type aspect. Something will happen along those lines, but Orton will win. I don't think it will just be a clean one-on-one match, but Orton will win and he'll retain and carry the belt for a little bit.
Surprise, surprise. I tend to agree with this. I do believe RKO, Randy Orton, the Apex Predator, will retain his title. I do think, although he will win, that they have to give some sort of little gleaming bit of hope to Daniel Bryan, that there might be hope for him to get the title eventually, because tonight on tonight on Raw, it did end differently than it had in previous weeks, where Daniel Bryan was the one standing where he usually is in the past couple weeks, because he just gets beat down, because that's what happens. But I do think there will be something positive to take away from him. Maybe that Randy Orton will win dirty, because I feel like that's very plausible with sort of the whole everyone against Daniel Bryan aspect going on right now with the McMahons and Triple H and the face of the company and what's best for business, as we touched on before. So I think Randy Orton wins this one, but not on its own, not by a long shot.
So just to recap, I think that Primetime Players will win the Tag Team Turmoil. Zach agrees with me.
Yes.
I think that AJ will retain the title.
Also agree.
Zach agrees with me. I think that Fandango will beat Miz if that match indeed happens. And again,
Fandango. Touchdown.
Yep. and so we agree on that one. Also, World Heavyweight Championship, I think, is next.
Yeah.
And I think Alberto Del Rio will retain.
I said RVD, but with an asterisk.
Yeah, it's going to be
won. Yeah.
And then I think Curtis Axel will beat CM Punk dirty. And
I thought CM Punk would win that match.
So there was the kind of one legitimate difference between the two of us. That's for one thing. Just to stop, that's bad at a pay-per-view where you shouldn't be such consensus agreement where one of us kind of feels like, okay, I'm just gonna pick this other guy, just so that we're not almost picking, picking RVD basically just because he wants him to win and he doesn't want to say the same thing as me the whole time.
Yeah, I mean that's
bad build up.
It's predictable.
Yeah, almost every storyline except for the main event, and even that one got a little bit stale. It's bad build up. It shouldn't be as consensus between the two of us, so that's bad on the WWE. And then the main event, I think that Randy Orton retains, and
I also agree. He won't be on his own, but he will retain.
So those are our Night of Champions predictions. Again, things can change between now. It's Monday and Sunday, so if things change, sorry. But at least some of these matches will happen, and one of them might not at all because we're just assuming it will, and maybe that's for another pay-per-view down the line, or maybe it's just going to be a TV storyline. I don't know, but that's what we would think would happen if we made that match happen.
Yeah.
So that being said, that's what we think is going to happen. So it's 2 videos for you this week. So don't get used to that. Anyway, we'll get out of here. I'm tired. I think Zach is too.
Maybe it's sleepy.
It's almost midnight. So, hope you guys enjoyed both of our videos today. If you did actually stick through both of them, or just this one if you're just watching this one. And we'll see you guys later.
Let's go Bucks. 82nd win
82.
tonight. 82, winning
82.
season.
We're from Pittsburgh.
We're from,
So,
who knew?
yeah. I usually, I would try to avoid wearing fan stuff. But, sorry. So, yeah, win number 82. So, this is
82.
the one time that I actually will be a fan. I'm very happy. Win number 82, we have a winning season. I said we. I'm not on the team. But yeah, so I hope you guys enjoyed the video. We'll see you guys later. Good night, Canada.
Good night, Canada. Raise the Jolly Roger.
Yeah, so we'll see you guys later.